Hi! January has been quite the reading month for me. Unintentionally, I nearly only read big books and I read quite a bit, so let's jump straight in. I'm usually not a fan of romance novels, but in January I finally read Ailey Hazelwood's The Love Hypothesis. Well, that's a mouthful and I'm still struggling with this word even after using it 1,000 times in university. This is actually also set at university. We follow PhD student Olivia, who starts a fake dating relationship with a professor at her university called Adam. And I liked it. I liked the setting, I liked the couple, they were so cute. She is the typical sunshine and he's the grumpy, and when I've seen it advertised and I've just seen the cover, I always thought it started as a Sherlock and Molly fanfiction, but actually it is the Star Wars couple. I'm so not familiar with the modern Star Wars. Is it Rey and Kylo? I think so. Well, he's supposed to be Adam Driver. I googled the illustrator and she draws a lot of this couple and I just love her. She draws such amazing pictures. I quite enjoyed this one, especially the setting at the university. I'm excited to find out what this author is going to write next. She has a book coming out this year and I actually might check it out as well. I started the year with Judge Dredd, his Complete Case Files number 4, and I'm currently on the Complete Case Files number 5. So this month I will have completed 2 further Judge Dredd books and I'm slowly making my way through the nearly 40 books in this series so far. I absolutely love Judge Dredd. He has become one of my all-time favourite comic book characters, and if you want to hear more about him, I have a video, either it's already up or it's soon coming, where I talk a bit more about this character and how I discovered Judge Dredd. Another graphic novel that I read, and this is my very first omnibus that I read, is The Mighty Thor Heroes Reborn, and that is a whopper. This is so heavy. I absolutely love the omnibus format because you get the art and oversized format. You get so many stories. The book is so heavy. I had to read it with a pillow in my lap where I would put it on, and it's so hard to hold it up. I really enjoy Marvel. I really like Thor, and this is from the late 90s, this series from 1998 to that continues on up to 2001. In this one there's a volume 2 which is sadly not in print anymore, I think, but I like those late 90s stories. They hold quite a bit of nostalgic merit for me, obviously, and I really enjoyed the art, and I'm quite new back into comic book reading. I only started collecting again in 2021 after a very long hiatus of not reading comic books, and I really hope that I can find volume 2 one day because I want to continue the story. We follow Thor. He's fighting with the Avengers against the Destructor and Doctor Doom and other villains, but he also has to manage life half as a god and half as a man. No, he's not Donald Blake in this run, but a paramedic who has quite the exciting life, and Thor has to manage those 2 lives while he also has to rescue Asgard and New York. A novel that left quite the impression with me is Tenderness by Alison McLeod. This is a brick of a book, just came out a few months ago, I think in October. This story is all about the book Lady Chatterley's Lover that once had the working title Tenderness, and this book is about tenderness. We follow the late D.H. Lawrence shortly before his death. We follow also his journey, how he came to write some of his works. Then we follow Jacqueline Kennedy and the trial of Lady Chatterley's Lover in America as well as Great Britain. I'm always interested to read about authors and their books, and there's no book you can compare to what D.H. Lawrence and with his Lady Chatterley's Lover has done for the book world, and what Alan Lane and Penguin have done for the book world in Europe, and was it Grove Press in America. This was so interesting. I was really invested into the Jacqueline Kennedy part of the story, and I did a bit of follow-up research because this is a time and a person that I'm absolutely not familiar with outside of what you see on the news and what you know from just your general knowledge. We also follow how invested the FBI actually was, not only in the Kennedys and wanting to let the Kennedys fail, but also the trial of Lady Chatterley's Lover, something that I've never come across before, which is so interesting. I've looked up a lot of information on that, but you cannot find a lot on it actually, like how invested the FBI and Hoover were in the running up to the election. And if you have any good recommendations, please leave them down below, because I would absolutely love to read more about Jacqueline Kennedy, the Kennedys as a family clan, and also the involvement of the FBI. I love this book so much, and this was such a strong start in the new year, and I'm now really excited to check out the author's other books, because this was definitely not the last one that I've read by her. Another book about books, but this time non-fiction, is Book Wars by John B. Thompson. This was quite the extensive read about the digital revolution in publishing. Every 10 years I want to keep myself updated about what is going on digitally in the publishing industry. I want to see where ebooks stand at the moment, what readers think, what publishers think, what authors think, what is happening in the economy around ebooks, and this book gave quite the insight and quite the history as well on ebooks and the variety of digital reading. This was super interesting. It was at times very repetitive, so this is a book that you can definitely read over a long period of time, because it won't let you forget a thing that is important. I read this in very few sittings, and because I was quite invested in this, and this was definitely the most extensive and in-depth I've ever read about digital products in the publishing industry. This was so interesting. And then I finally finished The Eye of the World, the first book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, in January. I've started this book last year, but then stopped reading it because something else came up. And in January I picked it up again, because the winter months are definitely my month of fantasy books and big fantasy books. We follow a group of chosen ones that have to flee their normal boring village life and go on quite an adventurous journey. This book series has 15 books in total, so I have quite a bit to read still. After this book I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue, but I did. I read the second one. This sadly has a new cover, so they don't match, especially not the spines, which I'm a bit annoyed about. And I actually enjoyed The Great Hunt a big deal more than The Eye of the World. While this one was a tad boring in parts, this one was just straightforward action. I also tested the Amazon adaptation, which I didn't like. I think the Amazon series is really intended for people that haven't read the books or don't want to read the books. I don't plan on reading the series back to back. I'd like to read 1 or 2 more books in February, March, and then when summer comes I'm probably not going to read any fantasy, and then start again in autumn winter. I hope to finish the whole series in maybe 1 or 2 years. This is my January reading month, and I'm so pleased with everything I've read. I had such a great month. I really enjoyed reading all the big long books, spending time with characters, spending time in those worlds, being so invested, and I'm so excited to continue reading. Judge Dredd and The Wheel of Time are my 2 series of the year, and I can't wait to just continue reading on. I love both of them so much, and I'm just so excited and happy about how good they are and that I discovered them at the beginning of the year. Usually January is a very dark month for me, but this year, for the first time in a very long time, I'm just upbeat and happy, and this is thanks to my reading. I hope to see you soon. Until then, happy reading.